Tao, live with Tao, searching for freedom from. Freedom you have to search from what? The first freedom you have to feel, realize is from the body. Because of your attachment with the body, there is freedom. You feel the body is limited to one place or anything. This is done by realizing that I am everywhere. One who is everywhere is bound to be joyous. So let us start searching for freedom from all that is limited in us. I have heard the story about an old doctor. One day his assistant phoned him because he was in a great difficulty. His patient was choking himself to death. A billiard ball was stuck in his throat, and the assistant was at a loss what to do. The billiard ball got choked, stuck in his throat. So he asked the old doctor, "What am I supposed to do now?" The old doctor said, "Tickle the patient with a feather. Tickle the patient with a feather." After a few minutes, the assistant phoned again, was very happy, jubilant, and said, "Your treatment proved wonderful." The patient started laughing, and as a result, he spat the ball out. But tell me, from where did you learn this remarkable technique? From where did you learn this remarkable technique? The old doctor said, "I just made it up. This has always been my motto. When you do not know what to do, when you do not know what to do, do something. And this will not do as far as meditation is concerned. If you don't know what to do not do anything, because mind is very intricate, delicate. If you don't know what to do, it is better to do not do anything, because whatsoever you will do, knowing it is going to create more complexities than in the mind, and instead of solving the problem will get more fatal. It may prove suicidal. If you do not know anything about mind, and really you do not know anything about the mind, mind is just a word. You don't know how complex it is and what is the complexity of it. Mind is the most complex thing in existence. There is nothing comparable to it, and it is the most delicate. You can destroy it. It is complex, yet it is very delicate. It is not like a iron. Just a little effort and you can destroy it. That is the nature of the mind. You can do something which cannot then be undone. These techniques are based on a very deep knowledge, deep understanding, on a very deep encounter with the human mind, understanding of the human mind. Each technique is based on long experimentation. All the sutras that Shiva gave to Devi, they are based on long experimentation. How this tickling with the feather helped the patient to spit out the ball. A simple thing, a simple joke can help to dissolve the mind because it is very delicate. You can dissolve it. But if you think that it is very hard, very difficult, you have to melt it or something. You have to take a piece of hammer, take a hammer and hammer it to crush it. No, nothing like that. It is so delicate. Just a feather, tickling with the feather solves the problem. A simple joke will bring you down from where you are to another position where you want to take him to. In order for that, first of all, you have to bring from the complexity of the mind, the seriousness of the mind, to a very simple situation so that you can communicate. You can give your message. As long as you are in the mind, there is complexity, nothing can enter the mind. So when the junior assistant asked the old doctor, my patient, the billiard ball is stuck in the throat of my patient and he is choking to die. What do I do? What treatment? So the old doctor said, take a feather and tickle him, tickle the patient. It worked. Because the mind is very delicate. So these kind of problems we see. So the masters use not a ready-made technique. With you a different technique will be used. With someone else you will use another technique. It all depends upon when he is interacting with you, what surfaces, what he sees that needs to work. He also sees, based on his experimentation, what can be done to bring this person down from his Eiffel Tower to the ground level. So remember this, do not do anything on your own, do not mix two techniques because their functioning is different, their ways are different, their bases are different, they lead to the same end, but as means they are totally different. Sometimes they may even look diametrically opposite. So do not mix two techniques, really do not mix anything. These days we are very much used to making the mixed vegetables, fusion and all these things. As far as food is concerned, it's okay. But you do not try on yourself if you are not expert. You do not know which is to mix and which is not to mix. There are certain basics of everything. Don't change it, do not try to improve it, because you cannot improve it, and any change you bring to it will prove to be fatal. And before you start any technique or any method, be fully alert that you have understood it clearly. When you go in the kitchen to cook something, you are crystal clear what you are going to do, what are you going to use. When a doctor is in the operation, surgeon is in the operation theater, he does not experiment. He goes which has been already tested and experimented over the decades. So in fact, a medical professional does not use the latest techniques in the treatment of the patient. He uses based on his experimentations. If you feel confused and you do not know really what technique is this, it is better not to do it. If you do not know while cooking this particular dish what different things you have to mix or add, each technique brings about a revolution in you. Like for instance, there are different ingredients, as you can call them as techniques in food. Ingredients are in a way to techniques. What to add and what not to add. In this particular dish, what flavor has to enhance, what flavor has to subside, what flavor has to be in a very subtle form. These are the delicacies of the food culture. So certain techniques are not revolutionary, are not evolutionary, they do not evolve. By evolution means if you do not do anything, just go on living in millions of years, the meditation will happen automatically to you. In millions of lives, you have evolved. Over the millions of lives, you have evolved. You think that you were not evolving, you were not growing, but it was happening because it is natural. If you come to the point to which Buddha comes through the process of revolution, you can come. So these techniques are in the nature of evolution, not revolution. Evolution, which is constantly, it is happening in the way the seed blossoms, fertilizes, blossoms, grows into a bud and a flower. It is the process of evolution, not revolution. Really, and revolution is a shortcut. They are not natural. Nature will lead you naturally to Buddhahood over the period of time, to enlightenment, if your journey continues on its own. It will take a very long time, really millions of years and millions of lives. Religion is a revolution. It will give you a technique, a way which will shorten the entire process, a shortcut, and with which you can take a quantum leap, a jump which will avoid a long duration or avoid millions of lives. So it says that their first attachment is towards the body. Body is limited. You are living in the body. You are not living in the house. Even if you say that you are living in the bedroom, it has a limited space for you to move around, to do whatsoever you want to do. If you have to do certain things, you have to go out of the room because the room is not self-contained, self-sufficient. The room does not have the sitting facility. It does not have the office facility. It does not have the restroom facility. It's not self-contained. So, first attachment is with the body. There are many things while you are in the body you cannot do. So you think that your body is limited. Toss attachment for the body aside, realizing that I am everywhere. Although you are living in your room, but you know, you have realized that the whole area, right from outside to every room, every space, you can be. You can be anywhere, wherever you want in your house. But when you come to my place, you have to be in a certain space. One who is everywhere. He is joyous. He will have a totally different approach. This has to be understood. First, you have to flip your attachment for the body aside. There is a deep attachment for the body, and it is bound to be. Because you have many memories with it, you have been living in the body for nearly many lives. Maybe you have changed your rooms, maybe you have changed your house, but ever since you were born, you are living in a space. Its nature, body may be changed, the house that you had been renting, it would have changed, your room would have changed, the decor would have changed, but it is your attachment is to that room. There is a deep attachment to the body, and it is bound to be. You have been living in the body for many, many lives. Suppose you are 50 years now. 50 years you have been living in a house. For a life of 3 years you lived in this house. Then for next 3 years you lived in another house. Now for some time you have been living in this house. Bodies have changed, but you were always with a body, with a house, with a room. You were always embodied. So you have to understand this. There have been certain moments and times when you were not embodied, but then you were not conscious. When you die from one body, you die in unconsciousness, and then you remain unconscious. Then you were born again in a new body, but then too you remain unconscious. If you take the example of the houses that you have rented from one to another, or the room that you renovated, or your room you change. Suppose there is the head of the family, maybe your father, maybe your mother, who occupied the main room in the house. So she was living, or he was living in that room. Then it happened. He passed away. So you occupying that room. So when you were not occupying that room, you were unconscious. When the opportunity came for you to move to the other, you remain unconscious. This is how you were in one body, you were attached to it, you were unconscious, means you were attached to this room. Yes, for certain purposes, certain things you go and do it in that room, but I can rest in any room where I want. But you feel that you cannot sleep in any other room, you will not fall asleep, because you have connected your sleep with the space. I can sleep in any room, anywhere. Even on the couch I will sit down and sleep. So you have been in one body, in one room, but that too you were attached to that room, unconscious. Even if I have to change my clothes, I have 3 places where I can change. Every room. So this here you have to see. Then you were born again in the new body, and then too you were unconscious. The gap between one death and another birth, you moved from one room. For some time you were out of the room, and then you entered into the other room, your deco and everything, but you were unconscious. So you don't know how you will feel when you are embodied. You are not embodied. You are out of the body. Now, you do not know who you are when you are in a body, and you do not know when one phenomena, and that is of embodiment. You have only known yourself in the body, connected to the house, to the room where you have been. This has been so long that you have forgotten. You have forgotten completely that you are different from it. You are in the body, but the body is not in you. When you are in the room, you are bound by its limitations and everything. For a certain purpose, you have to be within. For a certain purpose, you have to be for a certain time in the rest room. That is a necessity, and you are aware of this. Now there is a need to go to the rest room. So we have completely forgotten that you are not the body. You are in the body, but body is not in you. This is in each circumstances. When we are dealing with the people, we forget who we are. That we consider ourselves embodied. First I am talking about the body, then we come to the mind. Hence there is an attachment to the body. You feel you are the body. This is an attachment. You feel that you are not anything other than the body. Let us not jump into the mind as yet. Let us take one thing at a time. Try to understand the body first. You feel that you are not anything other than the body, not anything, not only other than, but more than the body. You are the soul, the self, but it is not your knowing. This is simply what you have heard, that I am the soul, I am the unborn and manifest. You have no taste of it. What you have read, what you have believed without knowing that I am the soul, soul is in every body, but did you experience it? Did you experience anything beyond the body? So your attachment, total attachment is to the body. Yes, to a certain extent, as long as you have to live, you have to take care of it. But this is not all. This is not all. So the first thing to be done is that you have to realize the fact really it is your knowing that you are the body. You know it, you are the body. Do not deceive it, because deception will not help. So the religions have been imposing on you that you are soul. I am consciousness. You can sing that at the top of your voice, but your basic understanding is I am the body. So the first thing is to be done, that you have to realize the fact that really this is your knowing that I am the body, and do not deceive it, because any kind of deception will not help you. If you think that you already know that you are not the body, then you cannot toss aside the attachment, because really for you there is no attachment. This is what sometimes it happens when you are attached to something, and when it is lost, you are disturbed very much. Have you realized any situation when something that was very precious to you or very important for you at a particular point, you have lost it? So attachment is there. Attachment to money, attachment to the body, attachment to this relation, attachment to that. So the first thing to be done is to realize that this is my knowing that I am the body. And from there, your journey will begin. When you see what is your attachment, that's where the master takes you forward. So the technique differs. If you are at this particular point, your attachment is to this, you have to be taken from there. Not from a basic statement that everyone is a soul, but you have not come out of your attachment with the body. And things, first you have attachment to the body, then in the body what you are attached to. Like if your house is your body, you are attached to your living room, you are attached to your bedrooms, you are attached to all the other facilities. So in the body there are different locations. You are attached to them. You have to realize that this is what I am attached to. I am attached to sex, I am attached to this, I am attached to that. But first you have to recognize that I am attached to the body. I have heard, but that hearing is not important. My basic attachment is with the body. Enough for now.